All right, hello, planet Earth. I've got a big problem I'm trying to work out here with B D Automotive. For some reason, they've been holding on to my K5 Blazer. I brought it to them for repairs. Made a Word document list. If I knew how to share that, I would, but I don't know how to share it. So perhaps in a future video editing thing, I would do that. But so I brought it in. I believe it should be February 14th is when I brought my Blazer in, and uh, I gave them. It was two sides, one sheet of paper, and it reads like this. It's got my name, home phone, cell phone, and the designation of the truck. And I made a bullet point list. It says it continuously gets worse and worse gas mileage. Last checked, it was 7.9 mpg. For context, I had brought my truck was supposed to have been repaired and made ready to be used as my full-time vehicle. So think job and any sort of like normal sort of shopping, groceries, and hardware store things of this nature, as well as anything recreational, hunting, fishing, just driving around. And I mean, I live in Custer County, so truly, I truly believe this is one of the most beautiful parts of the planet Earth. I really believe that. And there are dirt roads all over the place, and it's like the dream type of place to have a K5 Blazer type vehicle as long as it is running properly. I contracted Terry Neighbor to bring it up to that speed. He was supposed to well, I'll do more detailed video on that because I have emails and this sort of thing. But I mean, he was supposed to do like take that carburetor off and make it EFI conversion, and basically just make it so that it was a functional, smooth, like you put the key in, you turn it on, it runs clean, cool, smooth, no problems. I'm not looking for anything special or unique. I wasn't looking for upgrades. He was asking me about, like, do I want extra power? Do I want to do an engine swap for a bigger motor? Do I want to do a shift kit on the transmission? I was like, no, 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 no. I just want things to be working correctly. Like when I put it in drive, it, goes forward. When I put it in reverse, it goes backwards, and there's no problems. That's what, the basics, but clean and running. Terry Neighbor screwed up so bad, it was like the fuel pump was screaming so loud. He had it set at the wrong settings for an engine size that I don't even know if it exists. Maybe it does, but I don't know that it does. It was like a 355 V8. I have a 305 V8. He had it set at something like 70 psi. Fuel pump pressure when it needed to be at like 50, something to the effect of 50 psi. I've got more videos on this. I mean, so basically, it was just trying to get from Colorado Springs to where I live. It would overheat and die, and so I would have to turn the engine off and just sit on the side of the road for about 30 minutes to let the fuel pump cool. Who's ever heard of letting their fuel pump cool? I don't know. But I mean, and it was just such a loud, high-pitched scream. Everybody who heard it was like, "This is unreal." I mean, there was this epic oil leak coming from between the engine and transmission, and he was supposed to have rebuilt the transmission, and so something was wrong there. And I found out that, I mean, the list goes on. He had only 7 of 8 spark plug wires hooked up. I mean, this was like, I've got more videos to do on this, but this was epic fail. This was beyond normal. So I'm just I was just hammered out a list, and then I tried to, when I brought it in, both before I brought it into B&D, and then as I brought it into B&D, and then in different conversations with B&D, I was breaking down what I mean by these things. So continuing these gets worse gas mileage 7.9 was the last check engine timing for backfiring. I mean, listen, I was almost murdered by a bunch of police in southern Colorado Springs. I know exactly the place. It used to be called Bronze Tree Apartments. It's got like a different name now. As far the last time I saw it, still on the sign, and there's the image of a bronze tree. It would be Delta and Hancock is the nearest major intersection there. Um, I forgot what that other residential road is, but I was driving home, and this is going to be a different video where I really break this down in intimate detail. But I was driving home, some crackhead with a cell phone. I wasn't aware of this. I was like, what the what? This dude comes from miles behind me, gets right up on my bumper as if his car, compared to my K5 Blazer, is like about almost underneath my vehicle. It seemed like that. And I'm like, what the heck? As I'm driving home, I was a night grocery stalker at the Fort Curzon Commissary, so I was heading up South Academy, going towards, I guess it's, oh, they changed the name. It was Drennan Academy and then Hancock Academy. I forgot the new name, but either way, and I didn't know what was going on. This car is like from miles away. He's tailgating me all the way to the parking lot. I pulled in the parking lot almost without using any brakes at all, just like zoom. Because this guy was so up on me. If I touched the brakes, he would literally have been like wedged up underneath my truck. I pulled in the moment I put my truck into park. Zoom, zoom, zoom. 6 cop cars, 12 cops, shotguns. I mean, literally, people. Literally, this is exactly what happened. Everybody's screaming at me. I'm like, holy freaking crap. And they're like, see your hands. I want to see your hands. Show us your hands. And I'm beating on my window. So this is the middle of the night. This was, I don't know, probably likely between about 11, depending, because it wasn't a specific time number of hours you showed up at the same time each night, but the way that we got paid was by production, and so either way, depending upon how many groceries that we had for the order per night, it could be way into 7 in the morning, or just like a 2-hour quick in and out type of job. Just the nature of the work. But so I don't remember. It was 11 or 11:30 or 1:30 ballpark. And I'm beating my hands on the windows. I'm freaking out. I'm about to be gunned down by a bunch of police. Okay, and they're like screaming at me, get out of the vehicle and turn around, walk to, show us your hands, walk to us backwards and make me kneel down. And they arrest me, put me in back of the cop car. They're searching my truck. The dude's asking me questions and stuff. Turns out this crackhead with the cell phone called the police and said that literally I was, quote, I was firing a large handgun out my window, end quote. Literally. So my window is here. My exhaust pipe. This is like it's an 85 Blazer, so it's a mid 80s truck. I'm up here. The door window is up here. Okay. My exhaust pipe is, I don't know, 6 feet, 8 feet behind me and 3 feet below me. The exhaust pipe comes out underneath the truck. Okay. So, I mean, it's not like, yeah, sorry. I was just checking to make sure that I got the thing. Yeah, sorry. Either way, point being, I'll get into that's another video for another time. But this is hardcore. I mean, this is in my memory. This is exceedingly vivid. They didn't find any guns, nothing. My truck backfired. The jerks, the dingleberries at gosh, I don't remember their name. That's again another video for another time. But they did a Jasper factory reman, and then they instead of like adjusting and tuning the engine properly, they just hooked up all the old the ancient 1985 emissions controls and all this stuff. So it was just blowing all kinds of dirt back in. And again, they never looked at the timing. And so it was just, they absolutely screwed up my Jasper reman. And yeah, I literally almost died. Apparently, they thought there was someone else in the cab of my truck. There wasn't. I was driving home alone. No guns, no drugs. I mean, I was literally just going home from work and somebody's calling the cop. I mean, so point being, I'm never going to forget the fact that this engine needs to be tuned correctly. Engine timing, tuning, whatever it is, I'm going to mention it because when it backfires, it feels like I'm being shot through the heart. It's that kind of emotional response because I remember this so well. Okay, so I wrote here, check engine timing for backfiring. Engine is leaking oil between the transmission and engine. The fuel pumps overheats and screams at a high pitch. Needs to be replaced with an in-tank pump. Now, I did not know when I hired Terry Neighbor to do it, I didn't know that he was doing some sort of weird inline thing where he drilled holes into the side of the frame rail. And I've got a lot of video footage of this. I mean, he literally, it's a fuel pump about yay big, just sort of black sort of cylinder case. He puts it on the frame rail just at a sort of arbitrarily, randomly decided point on the frame rail, and after drilling holes in my frame rail, okay, sort of a C channel, and so it's kind of like this, and then he instead of actually figuring out what was going on and using the computer to tune the fuel pump correctly, he cuts up a couple of old car tires and wraps the car tires around them, and then takes what we in commercial construction called tie wire. It's also been called baling wire. It's just thin wire that you tie and wrap around, and basically he insulated it. He tells me that he tuned it and adjusted it so that it was just a slightly bit lean, trying to, basically trying to convince me that he's tuning it for performance. You want it just a hair on the lean side for the performance aspect. That's what he told me prior to my realization of any of this. Okay, this is what he was telling me on the phone. So this thing just is the loudest daggum scream. It's hearing damage, high pitch, and it's overheating. So I'm thinking, put a fuel pump in the tank as what I thought was going to happen. And number one, it's going to be in sort of a constant, not exactly an oil bath, but it's going to be in a bath as long as I don't just dry out the gas tank every time. Okay, number one. Number two, it's going to be quieter kind of no matter what because it's in the gas tank. So that's what I ordered. That's what I wrote here on February 14th. The EFI computer in the cab of the truck on top of the CB. So it's like got a little cord that goes down into the guts of the truck. I'm not a mechanic. And I was sitting on top of the CB radio. That's what I was trying to indicate. Please make sure to replace if necessary, because I have a position. I'm in the position, or was in the position at least, wherein Terry Neighbor would have been on the hook to make sure that all this stuff was correct, because he didn't do it correct at all, not even a little bit. Fuel level gauge needs to be adjusted correctly. It wasn't. I mean, it was like empty when it was a little bit indicating a little bit more than a quarter of a tank or something. I mean, this guy is just the worst, most useless pile of trash. Please make sure that it is a 31-gallon tank, not a 25-gallon tank. It was running out of gas so quickly, and because the fuel level gauge wasn't correct, it was impossible for me to tell how much gas was in the tank, and it seemed like the 31-gallon tanks are the option tanks, and they're almost impossible to find. 25-gallon tanks are relatively easy to find and order for these types of vehicles, so I was really afraid that he scavenged my 31, possibly as a resale, and replaced a 25. I was afraid of that. I don't know. Engine was tuned wrong and running very rich for several tanks of gas. Spark plugs need to be changed or cleaned. Spark plug wires are installed wrong. I have a plastic holder and plate holder piece and the cup holder. So the gosh, it was like Springs Automotive. I don't remember the people that did the Jasper remap broke it's like a plastic. So if you picture one moment here, let me just make sure that if you picture, it's a V8, so it's got 4 cylinders on each side. So there's plug wires that go down kind of like this and then up to where the distributor cap is at the backside of the engine. Please, I'm not a mechanic. Okay, so I hope I'm describing this correctly. The distributor cap. So as these plug wires were down here, there's a plastic thing that would sort of, it was like this and sort of hinged, and then it would close kind of like this, and it would hold the plug wires on the side of the engine where they weren't touching anything or going to be causing problems, just sort of guides them in a clear, organized path to the distributor cap. Well, this plastic thing was broken, or it had like come off of the block or something. I don't know, but I had the plastic thing. But I know in the past I had a problem where one of the plug wires, at least one of the plug wires, it would fall down and rest on the exhaust manifold, and the heat from the exhaust manifold would burn through the wire. And I knew this was a problem, so I wanted to make sure that whatever was done, this is addressed so that it's clean, organized, and in a reusable type of condition going forward in the future, as one would expect from a correctly well done, put together, professionally done engine job. So the horn, radio, and cigarette lighter do not work. Please fix so they do work. I am less concerned with the quality of the sound from the radio. If the speakers have rotted, then I will take care of replacing them. I just need for all the electronics to be in working condition. Also, the radio was at one point wired through the cigarette lighter circuit, which caused the fuse to blow repeatedly. Please make sure that everything is wired correctly. Anymore these days, it is very normal, and expected for people to have USB, devices that need to be plugged in. My truck has had a long history of unreliability. Realistically, not any of my own fault, but at least mostly not my own fault. I'm sure I'm responsible for some, but not really. I really love my truck. But anything new for the past many years had even multiple USB lighter ports, specific for USB. And to have a cigarette lighter anymore is like an option, which is kind of weird. But this is a mid-'80s truck, so you had a cigarette lighter, and I wanted to make sure that the cigarette lighter worked, so not for cigarettes. I don't smoke anymore. It's been many years since I've had a cigarette, and I don't want a cigarette. But to charge the phone, it is perfectly normal to expect to be able to plug in a charger to the cigarette lighter. And I know I clarified this, and it wasn't addressed. The horn wasn't, it literally wasn't hooked up at all. And what else here? Freaking Terry neighbor. He's like, I turned on the radio, but it just doesn't sound very good. Do you want me to replace the radio and replace the speakers? And I was like, no, I don't need any of that. I just need everything to be working, the wiring working. I don't care about the quality of the sound. And he's like, okay, and then I don't know why he hooks up. I asked him for a CD because the area I live in, I really wanted a good, strong CD radio. So he hooks up a CB and the CB turns on, but I've never been able to get any signal. So that I don't know if that's my fault or if it's the CB was done wrong. I don't know. I don't know. But the radio isn't. It's like it's not plugged into anything. Yes, for some reason he unplugged. He decided it was a good idea to unplug the radio from the radio antenna. Once again, I'm sorry. From the radio antenna that's like if you're in the driver's seat, it's to your left, like really close to the window outside of on the front fender of the truck. He decides that it's a good idea to unplug it from the radio antenna and to drill a hole into my fender and hook up the stereo antenna to that, but not hook, but unhook the. He had to unhook. He had to hook up the stereo to find out that it wasn't working, readjust the antenna wire, and then unhook the stereo. I mean, this was it was like, you got to be stupid to think this way. And so I was asking, wanted B and D to adjust this. I said, check the wiring for the interior lamps. I could replace the bulb myself, but please make sure that the electrical is working. It's, just making sure that the wiring, the easy stuff. I mean, I could probably figure out how to replace a little bulb, but to make sure that I've seen electricians, they got, like the little sort of thing where they touch the wiring and it tells them if there's current and maybe gives them like a voltmeter or amp meter. I don't know, but um, just to make sure that the wiring is all good and the easy stuff. I'm not asking them to like shampoo the seats and vacuum things out. I'm not asking them to detail it, but the difficult stuff, please. That it's that type of thing. And for example, the dash lights for the gauges are so dull they may as well not work at all. Can we replace with LED? So what I was asking for them to do is to make sure when you're looking at the gauges, especially at night, and then when you're climbing up the pass and going through the mountains, there are no street lights, so there you don't have any sort of ambient artificial light coming in to show you your gauges. I'm literally not able to see the the speedometer. I'm literally not able to see uh, the fuel gauge. I can't see the engine temperature gauge. And I figured if they're going to be, removing the dash or, getting into the guts of the vehicle in a way that I don't know how to do these repairs, if they could, make sure that the lights and all this stuff and the gauges and the transmission indication gauge, just make sure that everything is correct and lights are in so that I asked for LEDs because supposedly they draw, well, I guess it's pretty settled science that they draw less power and put out more light. And I figured that's only a good thing because this is an old truck and it's got, I don't know, like a 60 or a 70 amp alternator. And the new trucks have like 220s or 240s. So, I mean, if I could save on power draw, I felt like I'm saving on the draw on an mid 80s 305 boat anchor motor. Every single window is about to die. Please replace the electric motors with new ones and make sure that they are functioning correctly. I do not have air conditioning. I need if those side windows ain't working, I pass out from heat stroke and, drive off the side of the road and end up dead. I mean, basically. And the back window, with those K5 lasers, it's either, if that motor died, so the motor died once, and I asked Terry Neighbor about this, and this was a big deal. Motor died once when it was here, and Terry was supposed to have fixed it. I had to lower the tailgate, and there's a panel that you pull out, and a whole bunch of Phillips screws, and you pull out the panel, and I had to like help the window along to get it started, and then close it, and then it was like. So the problem is if that motor dies, it is either always down or always up. If it's always up, I literally cannot use my truck as a truck because it's up inside of the top camper shell, inside of a lip inside of the top camper shell, and so I can't. Oh, there's no latch on the outside. I can't like open it up. I can't like just open just the glass and then drop the hatch. It's not possible. I would literally have to take the. I can't even. I wouldn't even be able to take the back hatch off because I have to pull it out first. And if the window is in the lip, I can't do that. So I mean, it's literally non-functional as a truck where you open up the tailgate and put your stuff in and out, you know, your big tools and all this stuff. Can't do that. So, duh. Uh, Shift indicator did not line up with the gear the transmission is in. Steering is loose, possibly needs new fittings. So when I'm driving down the road, it's like the old timey movies where they're doing like this, and you see they've got it's like just a screen playing in the background, and they're just doing like this. It's literally it's this loose, and it's to the point where it's like if I'm going on the dirt roads and there's washboards and somebody else is coming my way like this. Sorry, but I heard noise. I could try and pull, you know, just make sure that I'm over on the edge, just so that we are safe and neighborly, right? We don't want accidents, duh. Because of the nature of the washboards, the front tires are going to move independent of the steering wheel. So I'm literally fighting it like this at low speeds, even just to try and hold it straight. And it feels dangerous and it's not fun at all. And going up and down mountain passes, that's only going to get more dangerous. I don't know what has to be done, but as far as I can tell, it's the type of steering it is. The steel parts, as far as I know, are new to that truck. They were done before by the same guys that did the Jasper Reman, but they've got like fittings like rubber or whatever poly, you know, synthetic fittings. I don't know if those are loose or what. Full lube job. I was forced to install new locking hubs. Did I do the job correctly? And was anything else in the front damaged because of bad locking hub on driver's side? So I did a different video of this that I'm going to be posting, where in the it's the old style manual locking hubs. Okay, one of the two was broken, so that it didn't it you had to use a pliers to turn it at all, and when you did that, it would just like turn way too much, or the other way, just way like as if it wasn't something in the guts was broken. I didn't know if it was engaged or disengaged, but the other one I had tried to engage before I realized there was a problem, and so I didn't know if something else. You know, I put the Warren Premium hubs on it, but there was a C clip that when you watch the YouTube videos, everybody always did that, but I didn't see that on the hubs that I took off. But I put the C clips on it, but I don't know if it needed it. So I mean, again, I'm not a mechanic, but I don't know if the rest of the guts inside where the axle and the gears are and the pumpkin, I don't know if any of that was damaged. And so I'm asking them to please look at this because I need my four-wheel drive. Duh. Front windshield was replaced. When driving at normal speeds on the highway, there's an incredibly loud, high-pitched scream from somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's from the passenger side. It please diagnose and remedy whatever seals are necessary to eliminate the screaming sound. It's in addition to the fuel pump, it's another deafening high-pitched scream, and I have witnesses to that as well. I mean, and it's like anywhere from 45 to 65 on the county roads and county highways around here. You're just doing the speed limit, and it's like you're literally going to lose hearing. Not an exaggeration. Driver's side rear tire has a slow leak. All four tires are supposed to be new. Is it the valve stem? I don't know. Transmission was just rebuilt. Please replace the fluids. Please put the junk that is pulled off in the back. Anything that they pull off, okay, sorry. I can provide a box of or boxes if necessary. I need to demonstrate that the previous mechanic that was contracted to do all of this didn't do his job correctly for a lawsuit. Also, please, if it is possible, take pictures of the work before and after you work on it so that I may use it in the lawsuit. I'm thinking like just grab a cell phone and be like, that's it. So that's the thing. I had brought it in, I'm pretty sure it was February 14. He had a month to work on it before the COVID lockdowns. And here it is, August 26th, and I literally do not have my truck. I've not been able to think about any sort of job interview you go to. One of the very first two questions they're going to ask you is, do you have reliable transportation? No, I do not. I've had to be either ride my four-wheeler to church, ride my four-wheeler to town, borrowing automobiles. So try and get Curt on the phone.
B D Automotive, how may I help you?
Yes, hi. This is Michael Duncan. I was hoping to speak with Curt, please.
Okay, give me just a second here, Michael. Let me make sure he's still in the office. I know he had an appointment today, so it might be better if you called in the morning, but let me see if I can catch him before he's gone or if he's already left.
All right.
Okay, Michael, it doesn't look like I caught him. However, this is about the Blazer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have it in the shop here. I'm actually taking a look at it right now. And it looks like, I'm gonna just check out underneath here. But yeah, so everything looks about done. It looks like we're just putting everything on top back together here. Let me see here. Spark plugs look like it's in as far as I can tell. So it looks like he's just buttoning everything back up as of right now. The exhaust is all in. Then it looks like, I'm not too sure exactly where he's at on it, but yeah, it looks like from what I can see right here is he's just putting everything back on top where for like the spark plugs and everything.
Okay. Is it possible for him to call me first thing in the morning?
Yeah, I can make a note of it for sure.
Please, I'm sure you can understand that this is a big deal. It's been 6 months that I've been without a vehicle.
Yes, sir, and I've actually, so, I don't know if you've heard, but Nick is out for quite a while, so Curt's finishing everything up, and making sure that it's all good. We did try and make sure that you weren't going too much longer without it. I know up here between me and Curt, I thought you had another vehicle, and that's why it was taking so long. However, I think it was Andrew Zeller had kind of come by and explained that was your only vehicle and everything. So I'm trying to get it done as fast as possible here.
Yeah, I wasn't. I had Pastor Andrew had told me about that. After he had done that, he did that without. I didn't even ask him to
Oh,
do that.
no, I know Andrew's
And
a really good guy, and we like him a lot, and we kind of actually appreciate him coming in and telling us all of that. Just because I know you've been mostly communicating with Nick, and for us to know that up here, especially me and Curt, it just made things click into place a little bit better. So we're just trying to get you done really quickly here.
All right.
But I will definitely have Curt give you a call first thing in the morning, and that way he can kind of let you know exactly what he has to put back on still.
All right, please do that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And you know what? If I didn't do all that explaining, but it feels like it makes sense that I would set the stage for a video if I'm doing a video. I've got a lot of videos that I got to put together to demonstrate. But so YouTube land, planet Earth. Hopefully we'll be back in touch tomorrow.